This is a chance we've got Mike Mordecai down there now, just to take a look. He's getting his at-bats, and just to take a look the next few games, see how it looks, and what kind of defensive player is he going to be. And if he looks good, there is a scenario that we could go with that lineup with Jose at third and Lawrie at second base if Lawrie does look good until Reyes comes back.
That was, of course, Alex Anthopoulos talking about the potential switch with Brett Lawrie, who's not quite back yet from injury, but they're trying him out at second base in the minors, and they're talking about possibly continuing that switch over when he gets back to the Jays. Now, what do you think about this?
Well, it would be pretty interesting to see Brett Lawrie at second base. I mean, we're used to seeing him at third, and he's a very good defender there. So I think that he could handle the position. It would obviously free up Jose Bautista to play third base, and then you still have the question of shortstop and what to do there. But I think that defensively, he probably could handle second base. It would be a challenge. I mean, any new position would be a challenge, but I think it's something that's worth taking a look at. And like Anthopoulos said, if it does look good, then that's something they can run with.
Yeah. Ben Nicholson-Smith is our resident baseball expert, which is why I have him up here to talk about this stuff. It's interesting, the kind of switches, and this is all kind of a ripple effect, if you want to call it that, from Jose Reyes being injured on Friday. Now, I know you think Lawrie is probably capable, and he is. I mean, probably. He's one of the most athletic guys on the team, for sure. What are the other sort of side effects this could have in terms of Reyes being out and them having to make some shifts?
Yeah, well, I think that there are a lot of them. I mean, you look at right field, which would be affected if Bautista's at third base. So then you have Rajai Davis, Emilio Bonifacio. Anthony Goes potentially in a couple of months would be an option there as well. So you have right field being affected. Then also shortstop, where now they have Munenori Kawasaki. But he didn't really hit with the Mariners last year. I don't think it's reasonable to expect him to hit too much going forward, even though he was pretty good on the weekends. So shortstop, obviously, another question mark, and it's a tough position to fill at any time, especially in April.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just have to see how that turns out, I guess. But it will be interesting to see if Lawrie is able to do that. Any timeline as to when he might be back?
It looks like Lawrie should be back at some point this week, which would be a big boost for the Blue Jays, especially after losing Jose Reyes. I think that getting Lawrie into that lineup and then defensively as well would be a big upgrade. So hopefully at some point this week for the Blue Jays, he'll be back in that lineup.
Now, going back to Jose Reyes' injury, I know you've got some insight to share on that on the website today. Can you tell me about what we can expect from you later? Yeah,
well, I had the chance to speak to Carlos Delgado today, and he was a teammate of Jose Reyes for 4 years in New York with the Mets, so he knows Reyes well, and he actually spoke to Reyes about the injury and trying to come back from that, expected to miss 3 months, so a pretty big blow for Reyes, but Delgado said he told him to hang tough and just try to make the best of it, try to get back as quickly as he can, and he seemed pretty optimistic that Reyes would, because he's seen him before, and Reyes has had injuries before and rebounded and had success at the big league level.
Well, his Instagram feed is still smiley pictures of him saying, I'm so lucky, I miss my boys in Toronto, and I can't wait to get back. So he seems just as anxious as the rest of us, that's for sure. Now, as Ben said, the Jays are playing this week. They're playing at home, and they're starting a 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. So we've got that game on Sportsnet Ontario and Sportsnet One, with coverage beginning at 6 p.m. with a special edition of Sportsnet Connected down at the Rogers Centre, I believe. So lots of exciting stuff. It would be pretty awesome to see Lawrie back in the lineup before the White Sox leave town.
Yeah, I think that it sounds like it's a possibility. He got some playing time in Florida over the weekend, and it seems like things are going well. He's another one of those Blue Jays who's on social media tweeting up a storm and letting us know how he's doing. So it sounds as though that's best case scenario, and at this point it looks as though it's pretty promising.
Easy to keep tabs on those guys with all the social media. Anyway, that's all the time that we've got. Thanks so much for coming in, Ben.
Thanks, Casey.
And check back here in a little bit for another Sportsnet Digital Dose.